Hey gang, Dr. Big Ed Guitar Pedal Shrink back after a long absence. Not too long. Been making videos, giving pedals away, giving advice to my nephew on YouTube. But today I want to talk about chips. For a long time there's been this argument on the web about the PT2399 delay chip, and I mean that's one of the oldest arguments after Two Screamers. But it had died down for a while, and I'd seen it come up again recently, and it bugged me because one of my favorite delays that I recently repurchased after stupidly selling is the Pladosk Elektrisk Token delay, or you call Taken Token in Norsk. I had to get it again because one of the things it does is the oscillation is so gorgeous in that, especially when you morph between heads. And of course the effect loop is beautiful in it, and I had to get it. So I got it. That's a PT2399 chip delay. And guess what? It's effing gorgeous. It's a beautiful sounding delay pedal. Why is that when people complain about that pedal all the time? It's the builder's ears, right? The builder designer who tunes the pedal. They have to use filtering, right? And so when you turn the token up, it's considered lo-fi, which is part of its charm. It's gorgeous. It's also gorgeous when you don't turn it up and it's not lo-fi. But there's filtering going on. And who does that filtering? What knowledge they bring to that craft and how they do it, and then how it sounds to their ears before it comes to your ears is everything, right? I've heard stories about Analog Man and his being super particular with chips. And there's a ton of other builders I know personally that do that. That's very important. Let's start with there. Picking the chips and being really particular about which ones you use, right? And not using all of them. I mean, any decent builder designer is not going to just buy a hunk of chips. I don't know if you all know this. I'm sure most of you know this, but if they buy 100 or 1,000 chips, they're going to throw out a lot of them because they don't test. You check them. You check each chip before you put it in a device, and if it's not up to spec to what you apparently bought, or it's just below, and you can afford to do that, you don't use it. That's what makes stuff great, right? Trusting the expertise of that builder. So that's number one, choosing chips, choosing better chips, choosing more efficient chips, choosing more higher rated chips. But what it really comes down to is the ears of the builder designer and their knowledge, their electrical engineering knowledge, which not every builder has. Come on, let's face it. I mean, it's not that hard to follow a schematic to rebuild something, or even to rebuild something and tweak it a little, but to make it new, it takes a little innovation. To make it new and special and take it forward is even more craft involved. And so you're relying on the builder's electrical engineering expertise, their previous experience, and their ears. Because in respect to the token delay, it's tuned beautifully. So obviously Knut really has a good set of ears. How can I say this? Well, I've owned a lot of his pedals. They're all gorgeously tuned. He's made some amazingly great choices for filtering in all of his devices, which are obviously important because he's employing clocks and other elements in some of his other devices. But recently, the Feber, I myself got one, my buddy Henry got one, a couple of other of my friends got them. And the one thing we all agree is like, okay, that thing is tuned really well because it's musical. It's really, really musical. So Knut has amazingly musical, good ears and makes good musical choices. That's important. So Is a chip bad? No. It can be, right, in the wrong hands or in just not as skillful hands. I mean, let's use a basketball analogy. Houston Rockets, there's talk they're going to trade James Harden for Ben Simmons. Is that a fair trade? Well, they may be forced into it, but there's no way James Harden, it's an equal fair trade for Ben Simmons. And I love Ben Simmons, but, it's not the same, right? So you can have a talented, great builder, and then another builder is James Harden. It's just the way it is. And that's where their ears and their experience and their know-how and their electrical engineering talent comes in. So a chip is not necessarily bad. It depends on whose hands it's in. So what I would recommend is before you buy something, if you have any qualms about a certain chip or something, or a certain chip that's in a certain device, listen to the other devices that builder makes. If they're all super musical and they're all really well tuned, if you've owned them before and they sit in a mix nicely, because that's the other part of it, right? That's the musical part, how it sits in a mix in your rig. Then you might be able to trust what they've done with that particular chip. Another example is Scott Monk at Montreal Assembly. So we all know there's filtering in the Count to 5. That's one of the beautiful parts about it. But the guy has good ears. It's obvious that everything he's produced is got a beautiful musicality to it, even the ugly stuff. For instance, I just bought a purple pedal of his, which is his clone of the PLL, but better. And there's many reasons why it's better, but one of the reasons is how it's tuned. It's super musical, sits in a mix great, sounds beautiful. For an ugly device, it's fantastic and you can use it. And I've been using it since I got it. So if the builder makes other devices that are great and musical and touted and trusted, then that chip is not necessarily bad. It might have been utilized poorly by somebody else down the line, or they copied something else and then just went by a schematic and didn't bother doing anything else to it, which is fine too. But these are all things you have to consider. So, no, a chip is not necessarily bad. You have to go on a case-by-case basis, a builder-by-builder basis, and a device-by-device basis. But if that builder has made many, many devices with many, many excellent and musical choices in the products they sell, and you've heard them or you know about them, you have friends who have used them and touted them, and there might be a reason why that particular builder designer is well known. I have a great holiday. I'll start doing more Dr. Big Ed guitar pedal shrinks more in the future. I've been doing all these other things and I'm kind of excited to get back to this more. But if you have any other questions, post them below. Have a great holiday. Don't do anything stupid. Be careful. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you next year with more pedal giveaways. All right? See ya.